Not every situation warrants profanity. Hello and welcome to Our Hearts Are Restless. My name is Alexis. Thank you so much for joining me. So it's summer and in the south of France it's been kind of weird. Southwest, it's been raining a lot and it's been quite cold. We wear sweaters outside in the morning, and I guess it's just because global warming's not working. But anyways, it's summer finally, sort of. And a topic that people love to talk about during the summer is modesty, and that is specifically modesty in dress. But today, instead of modesty in dress, I'm going to talk about modesty of the tongue. So I used to swear a lot, like a sailor, and it just worsened after the time, especially after I started pursuing this. I wanted to pursue a career in acting, and so hanging out with a bunch of actors and artists, I was susceptible to swearing more and more and more because everybody around me did it, and so I would just use the F-bomb, in like normal everyday conversation, like, oh, I had just like, we're having a drink, a coffee or something. It's like, oh, this is good, instead of just saying it's really good. You know what I mean? Just throwing it out there every single moment I can. The same with taking Jesus' name in vain. It was awful, guys. But like I said, it's part of society now, and it's almost encouraged. No, it is encouraged, actually, and that is just because it's encouraged doesn't mean it's good. And I find that it's encouraged a lot more with women. This type of behavior is so encouraged and almost celebrated when it's a woman doing it. Take, for example, female comedians. Like, every time they swear, the whole audience is like, wow, amazing, she swore, how brave. Oh my goodness, she swore, that's hilarious. Oh my goodness, she said vagina. Wow, that's so funny. I could never have thought of that. Yes, female and male comedians swear a lot nowadays, but female comedians take it to the next level in the sense that the swear or the vulgarity is the joke. The sad thing is, it's not funny. And I don't believe in the double standard of men should be allowed to swear and women not at all. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we're just in this culture where everyone is just using profanity, vulgar language, just like as if it's the most eloquent Shakespearean sonnet. Both men and women should be able to hold their tongue, to have a mastery of their speech. But come on, I'm sure many people agree there's nothing more unattractive than a woman swearing her mouth away. And this is not to say I never swear anymore. I do, but it is very rare. And you can ask my husband for that. But when I do, that means something serious is going on. Something seriously wrong is going on. Not every situation warrants profanity, vulgar language. Not having mastery of your tongue tells everybody that you have no self-control. Take, for example, I'm pretty sure you've witnessed a family member or friend or a stranger. Actually, it's worse when it comes to strangers. When you see a stranger, you're walking, just taking a walk somewhere at a park, and then you see in the distance a man or a woman screaming their heads off, screaming all kinds of profanity. And it's a little shocking because you don't know the context, you don't know that person, and so it's not a pretty sight. And that's what it is. You know that person is losing their self-control. They're losing control, and it's not a pretty sight. And that's what it means. That's what it is when you're swearing nonstop. Yes, society has made it okay for people to swear all the time, no matter what hour of the day, no matter what situation. But it doesn't mean it's actually okay. It doesn't mean it's good. Behavioral norms doesn't make those behaviors good. Let's say you don't swear, but you do the following. You talk crap about your husband or your wife, about your spouse, to other people. You talk behind people's back and gossip about them, and then when you see that person, you smile and play like it's okay. That is also a form of not being able to hold your tongue. Sure, you're not using profanity or vulgar words, but you are trashing that person's character. And what's worse, it's behind their back. And let me talk about the spouse thing a bit more, because this is, I think, that troubles more women than men, although it's on both sides. In my experience, for the people I know, it's mainly the women that bash their spouse behind their backs. What women and men in general don't realize is that when you are talking badly about your spouse, you're inherently talking bad about yourself. So if you say to someone like, "Oh, I can't stand John, Mary, they're just so stupid, like they can't do this, like I can't believe he did this or that," that's on you. That's saying something about you. If you call your spouse stupid, you are the stupid one for marrying your spouse. You see what I mean? What you say about your spouse reflects directly what people will see about you. I remember this one time at work, like, of course, we were all women, and the women just started bashing their boyfriends and their spouses, just going away. And I was just there, like, I just went to my phone, tried to doom scroll because I just didn't want to hear it. And at one point, they looked at me and asked me, "Well, what about you?" And I was like, I honestly can't say anything bad about my loving husband. I love him, he loves me. That's how you should address it. You shouldn't join in on the spousal bashing, the bashing of the spouses, because it whatever problem you have in your marriage, in your relationship, with your parents or your siblings, instead of taking it to other people, you got to take it to them. Yes, there are exceptions, rare exceptions, where like I said, rare exceptions where that person will not listen to you no matter what. But that is so rare. And most of the time, what it is people are just afraid of the consequences of what they might say, how their family member might react to what they've said. So, but just be honest. Don't take it to other people, because those other people can't help you solve your problem because they are not the person you have a problem with. It is important for us to have a mastery of our speech, because we are temples of God. Like, think about it. God is everywhere, and he is always watching and always listening. And he knows it's hard. So we have to remember that he's always there. And would you want God to hear you speak that way to your friends, to your families? The impression you give to others when you don't swear is a much better impression than when you do. I remember the one time I swore at work. I said the French M word, or the S word in English. And my coworker looked at me and said, "Hey, are you all right?" And that is the proper reaction to someone swearing, because it shouldn't be part of normal speech to have it in there. It is an exclamation. A swear word is an exclamation. You're trying to put attention on this thing that you have on your mind. But when you are frivolous in using it, then there is no attention left. Every message is exactly the same. So what are some of the things that you can do to combat having a vulgar mouth? Well, one thing you could do is what I did. I would pray 3 Hail Marys every time I would get the urge to swear. And you can't swear after saying 3 Hail Marys. After invoking the Blessed Mother, you won't want to swear in her presence. It would be so embarrassing. That's one thing I did every time I would feel it coming, if I could catch it. This is just a general approach to a difficult situation that you don't know how to react, or you feel impulsive to react to a certain situation impulsively. My sister told me this. She would when someone tells her something or something happens that's really, really crazy, or someone tells her something and she feels offended or angered, she would take 5 minutes. She would say, okay. In the 5 minutes, she would say, does this affect me? Is it worth my energy to address it, to remain angry? And if 5 minutes later her feelings change, then she lets it go. And that's the same thing when it comes to dealing with your spouse, dealing with difficult family members. Just you don't have to impulsively respond to negativity. So what does it mean to actually have mastery of your speech? You will gain clarity, first of all. You will gain patience. You will grow. Your patience will grow because it requires patience to not swear and to assess the situation without bursting into profanity. And you will gain or keep a sense of dignity. I don't understand. That's something I don't understand nowadays, is that it's the more respect you have for yourself, the more people attack you for it. And it's because they don't have that. And it's looked down upon because the world today is telling you it's good to be like crap. It's good to not have any standards, to just go at every impulse your body or your mind has, to not have self-control. And that is completely false. Because when you don't have any control of anything, because if you don't have control of these things, then these things control you. Anyways, I hope this helps. I pray you have a good day, and I shall see you next time. God bless.